Hi everyone. So I'm going to do another LOTRO basics video. And for the past two videos we've done character stats and races. So I thought now would be a good time to do your character classes. Over the past two videos we have gone over how certain stats are useful for certain classes and how certain races can only be certain classes or certain races are good for certain classes. First, your class you can be is partially limited to your race. Like we said earlier in the races video, man can be a lot of classes, but something like hobbit can't be as many. Well, first your class is sort of the role you play in the game. Like certain classes are melee, ranged, they tank, heal, or whatever. And they can even support groups, but we'll go on with the classes in alphabetical order and what they do and are good at. First you have your Burglar, which is a melee class, and they debuff their enemies and usually attack fast and do a lot of critical damage, and they also have stealth skills which can make them sneakier and not be seen by enemies. And then here in the class info you can see the lore if you're interested. And after that there is Captain, which is mainly a support class. And captains are melee, and they can have herald pets. Well, they're not really pets, but companions. They act like pets. And they can debuff enemies and buff allies. They can even do damage, heal, and tank, but they're more of an all-around support class. Champions are mainly a damage class. They're another melee range class, and they can dual wield or use a two-handed weapon. And they can build up fervor to use really strong attacks. And then champions can even tank. Guardian is your main tank class. It can also do damage, but its main role is tank. And it can take a lot of hits and basically keep threats away from your allies. Hunter is your range class that uses the bow. In the Lord of the Rings Online, they do not have pets, unlike many other games. Anyway, they generate focus, and focus is like the fervor for champions. You can consume it to deal a lot of damage. Hunters can also equip melee weapons to use some melee skills, although those are not as strong as their range skills. Lore Master is kind of like the captain in it being a support class, but it's mainly a crowd control class. And they can have pets like the captain again. But recently, lore masters can also do a lot of damage. They are really good at debuffing enemies and controlling them. And they do also have some limited healing. Minstrels are your main healing class. They can also do a lot of damage now, but they're still main healers, and they can buff while healing with their ballads. And then, we have to change race here. You have Rune-keeper, which is a class you unlock from Moria. Anyway, Rune-keepers are sort of like lore masters. They are ranged and kind of cast spells. You can be fire, lightning, or heal. Their primary thing they do is both damage and heal. It really depends on what you spec into, but you can either build healing attunement or damage attunement and consume it. And then they also have some support skills to use in Fellowship that are like the crowd control Lore Masters but not as effective. And then Warden can be damage and tank, similar to the Guardian, but their damage roll is more damaging really. And they are supposed to be one of the hardest classes to master, but as a beginner player they can be easy to get into, just really hard to master, and especially as you level up more. But they use a gambit system, which is spear, shield, and fist, and you build up gambits. And then depending on what chain you use, you can use your gambit skills. And they also have a javelin for range combat. And the last class is actually the Beorning, which is exclusive to the Beorning race. But they are damage, support, and I think can tank and heal alright. They're kind of all around similar to the captain, but their tanking skills are stronger. And then they can also heal. And the interesting thing about Beornings is they can skin change into a bear. And they're the only class that does not have power as their consumer. They have Wrath, which you can build up and spend while in bear form. And that's all the classes and what they do. We will go over more advanced things about the classes in future videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something useful.